I mean, that increased sharpness really does feel like it's a proper Hustler's package now. Proper Sprinters setup. It just wants to push harder and faster at every opportunity. Properly taut and aggressive setup both ends now. Feels awesome. But then the control when you need it, sublime. You. My name's Guy Kesteven. I've been a professional bike and kit tester for over 25 years. And this is my initial review of the brand new RockShox Pike Ultimate Fork with Charger 3 damper and the new Super Deluxe rear shock. And structurally, these are completely new forks. You've got a new sharper looking crown, you've got sharper looking brace, levers are slightly changed, and then down here, buttercup pucks, which are basically just little elastomers holding the air spring into the into the lowers of the fork that just take out vibration. They're actually, technology comes from top end chainsaw handles to stop the vibration on there. And then you've got 14 clicks of low speed on this Charger 3 damper, and then just 4 clicks of high speed. And then you've got Fox style pressure release valves on the back there. And then down the bottom, you've got the good old jackalope and tortoise doing your rebound adjustment. But in terms of weight, this fork I measured 1894, cut and ready to go in. The fork I took off was 1900 grams. So again, Pike Ultimate pretty much a wash in terms of weight, although now pretty much all the internals inside that fork are all metal. It's totally different damper is Charger 3. It's not bladder based anymore. It's purely piston and shim based in there, and some really, really clever damping moves going on there to keep it super quiet and consistent. And that's the level of quality you're getting now. Even the brake hose clip is all metal as well. And then on the Super Deluxe, I mean, it doesn't, you know, the layout is more or less the same, but you can see there's some little bits of machining on the body there. Rebound still in the same place, but you've got a chunkier, what, I mean, it's proper firm to turn that climb lever there. Then you've got high-speed compression damping there. You've got 4 clicks. You can see you've got the hydraulic damping on this unit. It's actually custom tuned for this bike, but you've got the option of compression. You've got the option of having hydraulic bottom out or not, and basically it's just a tapered needle that slides into the shock shaft that provides a hydraulic bottom out rather than it just being a simple rubber bumper or something like that. And then moving around to the other side, you've got your low speed compression here. So just 5 clicks on that, and then you've got your air fill cap there. The only thing I would say is, as you can see, that's pretty tight on there. So if you've got a big head on your shock pump, you may have some issues getting the fork to fit, getting the shock pump to fit in there. But for a piggyback air shock, it is pretty light. This one comes in well under 500 grams, ready to fit in a 210 by 55mm stroke. And although this is standard regular eyelet on the top, it's also available in a trunnion mount if that's what your bike takes. So that's the meet and greet done on the new Super Deluxe and Pike Ultimate. But how do they actually perform on the trail? That's what I'm going to tell you next. So, what's different about the new Pike? Well, to be fair, pretty much everything. And it takes a few hours to bed in, like previous generation forks. It's not as immediately supple as a Fox, for example. And like the back end, at low speed, doesn't mean you're losing any sensitivity either. So again, you can hold it tall, make up for the fact that there's 10mm less travel available to you in the Pike family. Or if you just like, you know, your forks to ride high in its travel, but still got excellent grip going on, and so it's not only lighter but excellent chassis stiffness. Certainly feels totally comparable to to the 36 I took off, even while taking deliberate hard camber lines across routes like that. Oh, well, it's interesting. Come out onto the road into the car park, it feels really stiff and solid, but then you get that with a lot of the best forks and suspension. From a car park point of view, probably think it's overdamped. And that Super Deluxe on the back, very, very different. I mean, externally, it's kind of just the adjusters, but look, flashier and smarter. But again, totally separate high and low speed damping circuits now. Just feels super sharp and precise. And again, because you've separated low speed and high speed, well, there's only low speed compression on this now externally, but it means you can have a really crisp pedalling feel, but still tracks really nicely when you're dropping in. And to be fair, I think in the setup I've got it in at the moment, it's still a bit linear for this pace. So you've got quite a large negative chamber, but you can now put volume spacers in negative and positive chambers, so you can really set up where it sits in the stroke and the sensitivity, not just in the compression side of things. So again, more tunable, wider range of damping as well. It just literally opens up more possibilities. And from a pedaling point of view, having that low speed separation from the sensitivity is awesome. So it means you can set the bike to ride high without losing any of that traction sensitivity. So you've got all the pedaling feels and all the traction. And that's really useful on a bike that's pretty linear like this pace. And then if you want it properly firm for a tarmac section, got the climb switch anyway. Although to be fair, it's not the easiest thing to find and hit. It's a pretty stubby lever. And just the interaction with both the fork and the shock through those all metal dials, the really nice crisp click, and even the fact you've got a metal cable tidy on the fork now just adds that real quality feel. And then you can feel that inside the fork it's just all metal as well. Right, lads, just feels, well, basically feels more top end, more factory, faster, sharper, more accurate all the way through. He says, getting overexcited and blowing the gear selection. But proper premium setup now. You know, RockShox is always superb, cost effective, broad bandwidth, kind of people's suspension, but absolutely matching the proper specialist now, but still coming in with a price advantage. And on this fork, and considering I'm not benchmarking against the 34, this is much closer, I feel. I mean, it's not in travel, but in terms of capability, controllability, you know, I've just come off a 36 factory and this feels awesome, super precise, but with that proper, useful, sharp, tunable versatility. Both ends, I mean, particularly that Super Deluxe on the back. And while I've not ridden the official versions yet, I mean, I've ridden Zeb on the flight attendant bike and that got a lot of changes, but it hasn't got the significant one, because that is the fact that this fork, well, none of the forks
has a damper in anymore. It's all pistons, so we got more consistent performance over time, better longevity, better consistency. Adds a little bit of weight, makes them a little bit more expensive because it's more complicated to set up, but at this ultimate level, the performance gains are amazing. And what I was meaning to say is, woo-hoo, so much pop on this suspension now. While all the chassis are now changed, Lyric, Zeb, Pike, so they're designed to really complement the user group for each set. So now Pike, it's obviously a little more forgiving, a bit lighter. Then Lyric is now kind of everyday trail fork in 150, 170, and then you got Zeb now 170 plus. One thing I would say is, even with those buttercup pucks in the bottom there, certainly not mushy and super forgiving over really hard janky edges like this, but yeah, the precision and the control is awesome. And that's definitely helped winding that high speed off. That blew my hands up a bit last time I did it, so yeah, just a case of finding the tune that works for you. Oh dear me. Whew. But it's still very precise, just racy, for want of a better feel, better statement about the character of both ends. You know, this pace has always felt tight and efficient, but now it's got that, plus amazing confidence and control in reserve. Only thing I would say, I am running more pressure than when I started in terms of RockShox recommendations, and I might be putting some volume spacers in both ends. Actually no, now about the pressure, seems to be sitting pretty well considering what I've hit just looking down there, so maybe I'm in the right ballpark on the pressure. But the hydraulic bottom out on this shock feels superb anyway, really controlled even when I was running it soft, and that's optional. Decide to have your shock with or without that. So in summary, RockShox have properly leveled up with this new shock and fork package. Right from just that metal clip on the fork, to the new architecture, to the crisper, sharper dials, to the more effective and yet more separated damping setups on them, just the shock feel on the rear with more adjustability and positive, negative. Shock feel on the front, particularly that valve rather than bladder based feel. So precise, so sharp, so it's got a real race tuned feel to it. And definitely be careful with the high speed damping, because there's a limit to just how much that buttercup can do on there, but far more sophisticated and precise and controlled feeling. But I've only had time to spend a few hours on getting them really tuned up, and there's probably some more plushness to come out of that fork as well. So massive thanks to Alex at SRAM for setting me up with the shock and the fork, and pretty much equipping most of the bike in terms of stop and go. Massive thanks to Giro Cycling UK, to PEs, to Crud, to Jolbo and Sweet Protection for supporting the channel. Huge thanks as always to my Patreon subscribers who pledge a small amount on a monthly basis, which really helps with the upkeep and the growth of the channel, because it means I can justify spending more time talking to the camera and less doing my other work, testing for websites, writing books, that kind of thing. So if you really like what I'm doing and you want to see more of it,
please consider supporting me on Patreon, and you'll get ad-free, exclusive and early extended edits as a thank you. But thanks for watching anyway. Please click to subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Click for notifications so you know when the next videos are coming out. Give this a thumbs up because that really helps in terms of the YouTube algorithm. And make sure you tell the mates about the channel, because that's probably the most effective way to spread the word and hopefully get more people enjoying me rattling on about bikes. But for now, I've been Guy Kesteven on GuyKest TV, talking about the new RockShox Pike Ultimate and RockShox Super Deluxe Ultimate fork and shock package.